to Navigation Trading Live. You are now part of a growing group of do-it-yourself traders who are trying to change the way investors think about building wealth. But because we don't believe in using financial advisors, stock tips, or traditional financial media, we have to do things different. We have to do things smarter. We do that through an art and a science we call trade hacking. At Navigation Trading, our methodology is based on statistics and probabilities, not hype or emotion. Our core strategies have been used by market makers, hedge funds, and floor traders for many years. Now, we share these secrets with you. Whether your goal is to make an extra $1,000 per month or replace your current income, with our guidance, you can achieve financial success beyond your wildest dreams. So, let's get started. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody had a great weekend. It is Monday, September 11th, and excited for a new week of trading. If you haven't already, make sure you connect with us on Facebook and YouTube. Stay up to date on all the cool stuff we've got going on. Speaking of which, we have our $50,000 account contest coming up quick. If you have not already registered, make sure you do. And all you got to do is go to NavigationTrading.com/contest. NavigationTrading.com/contest. And there's a page with a video and all the contest rules and everything that you need to know. And then all you got to do is go to the application button here and click on that, and you'll fill out a form, and that's how you become eligible. There's a couple things you gotta know about to become eligible, and that's all detailed on this page. There's only 3 days left to apply, so make sure, if you have not already, go ahead and do so. If you've already applied, please do not apply again. No duplicate entries are going to be taken into account. So make sure you do that. It's going to be exciting. You're going to trade a $50,000 account that we fund with our money. We're going to trade that for 3 months, and then you get to keep 50% of the profit. So pretty cool stuff. Next announcement I want to make is in regards to a new course that we have coming out. Now, this is a course that I've been anticipating for a long time. I've actually been recording and creating over several different cycles. And the reason being is because it revolves all around earnings. So every quarter, stocks come out and have to announce their earnings for the quarter, right? And so there are some very specific setups and strategies that you can use to capitalize on these earnings announcements. So we've got this course in the kind of the final stages. I don't want to put a timeline on it, but it might be next week, maybe the week after that. We will be sure to make an announcement when that's ready to go. And I'm just really excited about it because there's a ton of opportunity around earnings. There's 9 different strategies that we teach around the earnings. There are ways to take advantage of the implied volatility crush that happens after the earnings announcement. You can profit from the pre-earnings IV expansion, which I'll go over in the course. You learn which strategies to use right after the earnings announcement. How to use the strategy backtester. So we've been talking about this strategy backtester that we now have access to, where we can test these different strategies over several earning cycles or over several market cycles to see how they would have performed. So it's been extremely helpful. And then the one thing that you guys have always told me is one of the most helpful things in our courses, and that is the live trade examples. So we've got this thing just packed full of live trade examples. I know you're going to love it, and I can't wait to get it out to you. So stay tuned more for news on that course. Let's go to the platform and take a look at what's going on in the market. So it's 8:29. We've got about 30 seconds before the markets open. But as you can see from the futures, stocks are up. S&P's up 13.5. The Dow's up 127. NASDAQ up over 42.5. So stocks looking really strong this morning. On the flip side of that, we're getting some inverse correlation from bonds. Bonds down about over 0.5%. You can see the VIX is down with stocks up. The VIX is down nicely. There's the opening bell. Let's take a look at some of these other major indices that we follow. If we take a look at oil, oil is down a little bit. Gold is down about 1%. That flight to quality with stocks up. Looks like the flight to quality is coming back down as well. Natural gas up 1%. All the grains are down a little bit. We've got EWW, the Mexican ETF is up. FXI, the Chinese large cap up over 1%. All the emerging markets, Brazil up over 1%. XBI, the biotech's up. Technology up. XLK, XRT's retail is up. And everything equity related is pretty much up. The financials, XLF, up over 1% in a quarter. Some of the currencies, the British pound pretty flat. Canadian dollar pretty flat. Yen is down about 1%. Australian dollar down about a little over 1/4%. Now, taking a look at some of the stocks, Apple's up 1%, Amazon's up 1%, Baba's up over 1.5%, Baidu's up over 1.5%. Everything, all these stocks, all the big stocks up. Home Depot down. Now, one thing I wanted to point out on Home Depot and Lowe's, you know, that in anticipation of the devastation that's been happening from the hurricanes, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those people, because, man, what a disaster for a lot of those people who lost everything. But as you can see, as it relates to a couple of stocks, Home Depot and Lowe's have been on a tear to the upside in anticipation of, you know, obviously people needing their services and their products to kind of help rebuild. So that's Home Depot, and then Lowe's, not to the same extent, but a big run up there, and you can see the implied volatility up as well. So these would actually be good symbols to sell some premium in. So that would be a good option. And then the other one, the one that I want to put a trade on for our trade of the week is actually Disney. Okay. So it's actually popping up a little bit this morning. I was hoping we would get in when it was still down a little bit. But so Disney stock plummeted in anticipation of the hurricane in Florida. Now, the problem with that is, you know, the Disney theme parks makes up only a tiny, tiny, tiny speck of the revenue for the overall corporation of Disney, of Walt Disney, right? So Disney owns ESPN and ABC and all different types of production studios and movie studios and the rights to films. And yeah, they have Disney World, but that's just a tiny, tiny piece. And so really what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to put on a directional, a long bias position in Disney, because I think that was overdone as far as that sell-off. And so that's what we're looking for now. Keep in mind, navigation trading, we don't trade a lot of news, okay? We don't scour the news and look for different things within the news to trade, because we don't look at that as a consistent way to earn profits. However, when you see things like this, you know, I think it's okay as long as you keep your position size really small. It's okay to take shots at little things like this. And in just the same way that implied volatility there's an advantage to selling implied volatility, because implied volatility represents fear. Okay, so where fear is almost always overstated in the marketplace. Okay, well, that's the same kind of concept here. There's a fear that Disney was going to be losing a bunch of money because of Hurricane Irma in Florida. So it had this huge drop. Well, it's already starting to come back a little bit, but I think it was even more than that, overdone. So I'm looking for a short-term bounce back up to, you know, the levels that it was at before. Okay, so to do that, what we can do, and the fact that the implied volatility percentile is 77, IV rank is 65, so implied volatility is nice and high. What I'm going to look to do is I'm going to look to sell a put vertical. Okay, so implied volatility is high, so we want to be a net seller of options. And we want to be bullish, so in this case, we can look at a short put vertical. So I'm going to look at the 97.5 strike, right click, sell vertical. And then I want to be at least 5 points wide, so I'll buy the 92.5. And let's take a look at what that looks like on the Analyze tab. So this should set up pretty well. So set slices to break even. And what we're looking at here is over 55 probability of success. So we've got that probability of success on our side. And we'll kick this up a couple contracts. But so let's say if we did 4 contracts, you've got a max profit of $552. Obviously, we would close that out at a percentage of max profit, depending on how quickly it got there. So we would be looking at maybe booking a profit of $100, $250, maybe $300 in profit on this trade. And the amount of capital it takes to put on, in this case, almost $1,500 if you did 4 contracts. Obviously, you need to do the amount that fits your account. And again, keep it small. So if you usually risk, $1,000 on a trade or use $1,000 of buying capital, on this one, use 500. Okay, just so you want to just stay real small. I mean, this is a directional play. You've got some theta. You've got a little bit of an income component to it, but it's mostly just a directional play. A directional play anticipating a pop to the upside in Disney. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to try to get this filled, and if I do, I will shoot it out to alert subscribers. Other than that, have a great week of trading. We'll talk to everybody next week.